Shalom, this is a Beak back with another edification. I want to thank all of my subscribers. I see I have another subscriber, 201 subscribers at this point. I want to welcome my 201st subscriber. I want to thank all of my subscribers. I appreciate all of my subscribers. Okay, you tuning in, all right? I want to wish all of my subscribers high health and high spirits, and I want to wish that my subscribers are safe and you and your loved ones are protected against these agendas that are waged against us here behind enemy lines here in America. Men over in America, repent from being a Gentile. Save yourself from being a Gentile. Save yourself from the Gentiles. Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible will help maneuver through the land of America. Keeping the law, such as the commandments, will help to prevent being in trouble here in America. Okay, Salakia. Today I want to discuss the fellas. I have a couple of anecdotal stories to share real quick, but without going into a lot of detail about the stories themselves. The overall message is, men, stop helping females that do not want to be with you anymore. Okay? First of all, the women were created to be the help. Here in America, the land of the Gentiles, right? I said it in my previous videos, Jesus is the king of the Gentiles, okay? Jesus, the word Jesus, the name Jesus is Latin, and it just means earth pig, okay? So I'm not going to go into too much detail trying to prove the difference. If you know, you know, all right? Jesus is an idol, and to hell with Jesus, and to heaven with Yahweh Shai. Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai on top of that, okay? Fellas in America, this is the home of the Gentiles. The only type of man that is accepted over here is a Gentile. And I mean accepted and received by the female Gentiles over here. All right? Stop being a Gentile and a person can evolve without being a Gentile over here. All right? The females and the women were created to help the men with serving the purpose of being a child of Yahweh. Okay? Back me up as far as backing up a man, keeping the law, such as the commandments, is the purpose of the female, the woman. Okay? That's if she's a law keeper. These females over here in America behind enemy lines are Gentiles. They do not keep the law, such as the commandments of the Bible. All right? The religious Gentiles are the worst. All right? Here it is. I have Ezekiel 37:4, and it says, again, he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord, Yahweh. Too many men over here are Prince Hakeems, man. The movie Coming to America was perfect, and I'm going to keep kicking a dead horse because it's really not dead. That movie was alive. It's still alive and well in my head, okay? In my mind, in my heart, in my mind, which is my heart, that movie stood out to me because here we are in America, and the movie was showing the cautionary tale of a so-called black Latino Native American man here in America behind enemy lines trying to choose a wife to start a family with here in America to create a legacy with is bad news. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep saying it. Stop helping women who do not want to be with you anymore. I got a neighbor. Well, I have a neighbor that's a female. And most of my neighbors are single mothers because they're on Section 8 and welfare. And they're getting food stamps and having children every couple of years to qualify for program assistance like child support and welfare and Section 8. This is what the Western female does, okay? She's trash, and she's not serving her purpose divinely. I'm still amazed at how many fellas still look at these females and want to have sex with them or want to have a child with them or allow these females to hijack the children. A lack of knowledge. But on top of the lack of knowledge, it's these dry bones of these fellas over here in America falling victim to these females that don't respect fatherhood, don't respect the Most High God, they're not attracted to men of God, men of Yahweh, who keep the law, statutes, and commandments. They only love Gentile men. They only respect elemental P, opposite sexes, okay? The females only respect the elemental P guys, okay? You have to be a Gentile of some sort in order to be the type of guy that these females prefer, okay? So I'm starting to notice in my, environment, a lot of these Gentile men are finding themselves walking away from these Gentile females. The Gentile females are no match for the Gentile guys. The guys are constantly subjecting themselves and allowing themselves to renounce their throne. They have nothing else to really give up on except for life itself. By the time the Western female is done promoting herself over the guys over here, after years and years of these females being above and usurping authority over these Gentile guys, the guys are burnt out. You ever seen a prostitute in her senior citizen years? She looks used. All right? She looks used up. Okay? Drained. Okay? Unfit. Okay? And a lot of these guys, they have this same look after dealing with these Gentile females. Used up, worn out, burnt out. All right? Depleted. Right? Exhausted. Okay? With those dry bones. Okay? Without the spirit. All right? The spirit of keeping the commandments. Okay? This is how you can tell whether an individual has the correct spirit on them, if they're willing to keep the commandments or not. The spirit of the Most High God, Yahweh, the God of Israel, is going to enable the individual to keep the commandments. Any individual, man, woman, or child, male, female, that refuses to keep the commandments of the Most High God, Yahweh, the God of Israel, is not in the correct spirit. It's just that simple to distinguish a Gentile from a predetermined spirit, okay? A person that has a covenant with the Most High before birth is willing to keep the commandments, okay? Stop, to the men, stop helping females that are not your wife. And stop helping these females that do not want to be with you anymore. If she wants to hold the children hostage and she's using these children for ransom, then to hell with them children, man. America is going to go up in smoke. America's going to die a horrible death. These so-called whites have done a great job at fucking up the minds and the spirit and the households and the family and the legacies of so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, who are the Israelites of the Bible. All right? The Edomites are the Christians. That's how I like to put it. The Israelites are Israelites. I don't like to use the word Christian. I'm not a Christian. I'm not going to try to explain that word. I'm not about to try to prove that the Israelites were the first Christians. I don't like the word Christian, because to me that's a Latin word as well. So I don't like the word. I don't like, referring to myself. I'm not referring to myself. I'm not a Christian. I'm an Israelite. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Not no stupid ass Christian. And I'm not a stupid ass Gentile neither. I could sit back and explain the difference between the keepers of the law and the Gentiles who promote free will, who promote not keeping the law. And the law's done away with for the Gentiles. The law was never done away with. The Gentiles did away with keeping the law. Okay? So, it's a beautiful thing to understand the difference between the Gentiles and the law keepers, and to sit back and explain the outcome of these free-willed Christians or religious, followers. The ones that were indoctrinated with the lies of white superiority. Because Gentiles, they only worship white superiority. They don't necessarily have to be kissing the boot of a so-called white man, woman, or child. That's not the type of dominion that we're saying that these so-called whites have over so-called blacks that are Gentiles. It's just that they worship white superiority. They worship the statues, which are the idols. They wear the lowercase t around their chains, and they get the lowercase t tattooed on their skin. So these are the Gentiles. America is the home of the Gentiles, another empire of the Gentiles, because there's a few different empires of Gentiles across the world. Different races of Gentiles, different bloodlines of Gentiles, but they're all heathens. Okay? My neighbor being a female, the guy that she had living with her, he decided that he wanted to separate from her. And I remember when I moved into this place that I'm at now, and when I first noticed this female, she called herself being attracted to me. I thought she was kind of attractive, right? And I spoke with her. We spoke briefly. At the time, she said she was currently involved with 5 different guys, and she was having sex with 3 of the guys at the time. So I said, well, I'm not dealing with you. And she was saying, well, she got room for one more. That's what she was telling me. And I said, no, I'm cool. I'm cool with that shit. I don't, that outcome is going to be terrible. Who's ever the last man standing with this broad, right? 3 months later, after I moved in, she was pregnant by some guy that she was having sex with. Well, then this guy moved in. Whoever this guy was, not sure if he was the baby father or not. I don't know. Seemed like one of them Jerry Springer build-ups to me. One of them Jerry Springer episode build-ups to me. So I sat back, left her alone, didn't touch her. So here it is, a couple of years later, the guy that moved in with her moved out. I just spoke to the guy the other day. He said he moved out, but he was also still supporting the household and contributing to the children that she had. A lot of these Gentile, so-called black, Latino, Native American men, this is what they do, because they're Gentiles. They don't know how to separate. The God of Israel, the Most High God, Yahweh, we refer to him as Red Pill. All of the law, statutes, and commandments pretty much instruct the hopeful elect to separate. Come out of her, my people, separate from the Babylonians, the so-called Gentile American Edomites, right? Separate from the so-called white race. Do not learn the ways of the heathen. That means paganism. Do not celebrate paganism and none of the white superiority worships. Do not fellowship with non-believers, okay? Everything is about separation, right? If she would not go in the way that you have her, talking about the woman, then cut her off from the flesh. Everything is about separation. So the men, my message is save yourself from the Western females. Stop supporting and contributing to the households of the Gentile female. Stop supporting, stop helping the woman, the female. Stop helping females that no longer want to be with you. The craziest thing ever, man, is the conquering of the so-called man. All right? The man has been conquered. His spirit has been conquered. His spirit is in bondage over here. All it takes is to let go of these spiritual strongholds and to renew the mind, which is the heart. Renew the mind. Be a changed person. Let go of people that are no longer, that are not willing to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Save yourself. I'm not about to exhaust myself and turn blue in the face trying to save these guys from these females and these bad spiritual decisions they're making over here in Babylon. Not about to talk myself blue in the face, okay, trying to explain these things. But I am considering starting a Gentile Olympics. That's what I think I might do. The Gentile Olympics. Let's see the outcome of these unbelievers, these individuals who do away with the law. Let's talk about the outcomes of these individuals. So that's what I want to talk about today. I see a lot of, content, showing the Gentile female struggling because she made bad decisions when she was having sex and giving birth to children. She did, a lot of for the most part, these Western females are not giving birth for the father of the child. They're not having children for the men. They're having children for themselves. And when I tell you that these Western females, so-called Black, Latino, Native American female Gentiles, are the stupidest females on the planet. They're a threat. They are a threat to the men. You men need to save yourselves from these Western females. Do not help these Western females. Do not support single motherhood. Do not help or contribute to females who no longer want to be with you anymore. Stop helping females that are not doing what's required to be a wife. To hell with them children. Fuck the children, okay? Fuck the females. This has been my message today. I'm going to title this video, Men, Stop Helping Females That No Longer Want to Be With You. Hashtag to hell with those children. Okay? Talking to you dry bones. All right? This has been a beak with an edification. I hope somebody's been edified. I want to thank all of my subscribers. I want to wish all of my subscribers high health, and I wish that you are in high spirits, and I wish that you and your loved ones are safe and protected against these agendas that are waged against us here behind enemy lines here in America. All right? Stop helping women that no longer want to be with you. They're hijacking your children. And another thing I want to say, in a marriage, in a relationship, according to the Bible, the man is the head of the woman is the man, all right? It's the Most High God, Yahweh, and then it's Yahweh Shai, and then it's the man, woman after the man, and then the child after the woman. Men, keep yourselves first because you are first. You're not looking for the one woman because you're the one, okay? You're not the woman, but you're the one. Stop saying that, I'm not looking for the woman I'm not going to renounce my values or renounce my throne to be with these females. So listen, this is what I want to say. In a relationship, if the values or the foundation of the relationship is not based on the values of the man, then it's going to be based on the values of the woman or the female. In my relationship, I'm in charge. And if a woman can't follow my lead, then guess what? There goes the relationship for her. She can't say she's in one if I don't tell her she's in a relationship. Only deal with a female and a woman from a position of power, spiritual power. I'm naturally in authority over any woman that walks in my face. So before I start renouncing my throne and raising some white flag and surrendering my values in exchange for hers, listen, who's driving this bus? Who's driving the relationship? The values of the woman. Most of the time I'm seeing because they're Gentiles. Too many of these fellas over here are finding themselves renouncing their throne. We have way too many, or I'm not going to say we, but Babylon has way too many so-called Black, Latino, Native American Prince Akeems. Okay? Prince Akeem came to America in that movie Coming to America and lost his damn value system. Matter of fact, he renounced it before he even left his land over in the East. Okay? You men are going to suffer a horrible death. Okay? If any of the men allow the values of the relationship to be the values of these females. The values of a relationship should be the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, Yahweh, the God of Israel. The God of Israel is not a Christian, all right? Anybody that's confused need to play this again. Jesus is the King of the Jews. That's a Salakia. Jesus is the King of the Gentiles, all right? Let me get that straight. The white Jesus, the name Jesus, is the King of the Gentiles. This is why if a woman believes in Jesus, then run for the hills. Get away from her. If a woman is saying God love everybody, get away from her. She's a Gentile. If she believes in Jesus, she's a Gentile. Get away from her. She's going to indoctrinate your children or your child with that bullshit about Jesus. This is why I say the values of the females are really bullying relationships, and they're really conditioning the men to be a Gentile in order to get with her. Stop trying to get with the females and allow the females to get with you based on your values. If the relationship if the values of the relationship is not based on the values of the man, then the men are becoming Gentiles just to get this woman. I'm not about to turn into a Gentile to get no broad. It's too bad that these females over here want to be Gentiles and stupid at the same time. So again, hopefully this has been edifying. This has been Abik with another content. Hopefully somebody's been edified. I want to thank all of my subscribers again. Shalom.